Hey there. So we had a little conversation over break that the Capstone teachers did, and appreciation to Mr. Clemens who provided a bunch of documents. And um, the focus of the Capstone is going to shift a little bit based on how things are going, and kind of an adjustment, an in-year adjustment to what we're seeing. And then, of course, with the idea that we're seeing a need for a serious amount of research project or research abilities for college. So consequently, we're moving into um, capstone proposal, and we're going to reset the capstone proposal a little bit, but this is going to close it off and it's going to kind of lock things up. So it's going to be due next week, which will give you a chance to fix it and get you started on the other pieces. And you're going to be locked in by January 29th. So let's go over what's going to happen. I'm going to go over this overview. And if you look with this overview, you're going to see also, sorry, it's making me sign in again. There we go. With the overview can be translated into other languages. So if you need it into other languages, all you have to go is to tools and translate document. And if you feel more comfortable reading it in a native tongue that is not English, that is an opportunity to do so. I'm going to make this 175%, so it's a little bit larger, and we'll get you into this right now. Now, Capstone Project Overview. So let's take a look at what this is. The Capstone Project, let's take off this word teacher prep. Overview of the Capstone. The Capstone project is an intensive, active learning process incorporating the disciplines that determine what you as a high school senior know and are able to do. It's a research based experience that will represent an area of high interest and is a requirement for graduation. So these are all things that are all coordinated, and we've gone to the basics of it. At the very least, this was always required, so we're not adding anything. We're just kind of refocusing it, okay? Now, the requirements are an 8 to 10 page analytical essay that examines a meaningful issue, the e-portfolio, which kind of showcases the best of your work over the course of high school, and then 10 to 15-minute multimedia presentation. This has got to have student work and video and photographs and things like that to really demonstrate any internships or action projects that you've done. Now, how do you pick a project? The project represents something that interests you. However, it must be approved by the Capstone Review Panel. So once you've created the proposal, you're locked into your topic unless you can justify a capstone change by the 29th. So lock it in by the 29th or you're not going to be able to do it. Now, your job is to demonstrate the ability to read critically, write clearly, and think critically, communicate effectively, and solve problems. So complete all assignments. Keep electronic copies of everything. So make sure that's all in your hard drive. Keep Google Sites electronic portfolio, which we'll get into in a little bit. Ensure that all the work you submitted adheres to the standards of academic honesty. In other words, we're going to go over how to do MLA and we're going to use MLA citation. We're going to meet regularly because you know that we meet regularly. And ultimately, you're responsible for making sure that the work is completed in a timely fashion. So that's one of the things you're going to have to know. The capstone teacher, I'm responsible for showing you the proper process, all right, and evaluating the documentation, so getting you your stuff back, reviewing the rough drafts of the research paper and kind of give you revisions and feedback, evaluate the final draft of the research paper, and coach you in some methods for delivering the oral presentation and conduct a post-presentation discussion with the student for the purpose of a capstone improvement and implementation. In other words, we'll kind of do a post-presentation thing to kind of make this thing meaningful. The review panel will evaluate the proposal. They'll also evaluate the final product. And then the parents are going to help you by providing, obviously, the signatures that are needed and the timelines and all of that. Now, these are the state guidelines we used. So I went through these state guidelines. And this is roughly the calendar we're going to follow. So follow along in there. That's your calendar. And then ultimately, I will tell you that I want to see the proposal form done by January 11th, which is Monday. Now, what is the proposal form? The capstone proposal form is right here. I'll boost this up to 175 again so we can see it. Now, this one, the college level, is talking about a substantial writing opportunity because the first thing your teachers are going to do is hand you some writing assignments. The moment you get to college, it's writing assignments for everyone, and whether it's tech school or anything else. And if you don't know how to write in an MLA format, you're going to get blown up in your first college class. So let's rock and roll. Let's get that done. So choose an area of interest and the area of interest that you find most appealing. So this is the area of interest. It can be what we're talking about. Keep the one that you're working on. You don't have to pick a new one. And then formulate a research question. And we're going to start working on this. But the research question, we'll do some other activities about how that research question gets revised. Okay. But you're going to propose your first one. Make sure it has a manageable scope. So it's not too broad and it's not too narrow. Completely answer the research question. You will need not only provide facts, but also analyze, interpret, and evaluate the information. If you find it boring, if you find this whole thing really boring, you need to develop another question because I want to make sure you keep your interest. All right. And then you answer the research question will provide a new dimension what already exists. So you're trying to bring some new thought to this whole process. And the quality will, the other piece is demonstrating interest. In the space below, you're going to describe why it's interesting to you in 5 to 7 sentences. I really like it. That's not 5 to 7 sentences. Looking for 5 to 7 sentences. Make sure we see that 5 to 7 sentences. And I'm going to make sure that that is highlighted so you understand how much we're looking for there. Okay. Then you're going to create kind of a plan and how you're going to go through researching the process. And we are going to take you to a library. We're going to need a library card. We're going to take you, if you don't have one, we'll show you where to get one online. In any Connecticut library card, will get you to the Connecticut State Library, articles that we know are legit, and then who you're going to interview who's a world-class expert in this subject. So Uncle Mort probably isn't going to cut it unless Uncle Mort happens to be a PhD in whatever topic you're working on. Then maybe Uncle Mort will work. You're going to have to sign off on your commitment on this. Then I'm going to have to sign off, which I don't do until I approve it. And then your parent is going to have to sign up so they know what they're working on. So make sure your mom knows that this is going on as well, or your dad, or whoever it is you live with, grandma, whoever it is you're living with. Make sure that your parent or guardian is signing that off. Do the best you can on this. All right, get it to me by Monday. I want to see your best work. This is going to push you. It's good, hard academic work. It's going to get you ready for college. It's one of those projects that you're going to look back and you're like, ooh, did I really grow as a student, as an academician by doing this? All right, I believe in you. You got this. Let's make this happen. All right, we'll talk to you.